Hi guys, welcome to Dark Whispers. It's been a minute and I'm so sorry. I have been busy with life and the holidays. Today I'm going to be doing my makeup and I'm going to be telling you guys a murder mystery story. Okay, so I'm going for a very natural look. I don't put a lot of makeup on. So yeah, I'm just going to be getting ready and telling you guys a story. Okay, so December 2006. Around Christmas time, the parents of Ryan Waller were expecting him, and he did not show up to celebrate Christmas with them. So they waited a couple days, tried reaching out to him, didn't hear from him at all, which was so unlike him, to just totally ignore them and miss out on being there for Christmas. So they're like, okay, this is so unlike him. We're gonna go down to his house. He had a house that he was renting with his girlfriend, Heather Quan. Him and Heather Quan had a roommate. So they go to the door, they're knocking. No one's answering the door. They're like, okay, so he's just completely ignoring us. This is kind of giving us a little bit of worry. It's a little sus. It's not like him. Let's call the police and tell them y'all need to come down here and do a wellness check. So they call the police. And the police come down, and upon inspecting the home, they come inside the house, and they see that right off the bat, Heather Quan, Ryan Waller's girlfriend, is dead on the couch. She's been shot twice. And then they see that Ryan is conscious and still alive, moving around. And they're like, okay, like he looks like he's been in some kind of altercation. He has a black eye, a little bit of blood on him, who they suspect is from his girlfriend. And they're like, let's put him in the back of a cop car. Let's not call the ambulance. Let's not have the paramedics check on him, but let's put him in the back of the cop car while we continue to investigate the crime scene. Okay, so he's in back of the cop car for 6 hours while they continue to investigate the house. It looks like he's been in an altercation, but he obviously wasn't feeling very well. He had a huge black bruised eye and blood all over him and chunks of his nose missing. If you look at the photos, which I'm posting, yeah, you would think he would need some medical attention, right? But yeah, they didn't give it to him. They're like, you can wait. After 6 hours of investigating, they take Ryan down to the police station, and that's where Detective Paul Dalton asks him a series of questions. If you watch the investigation video, it's actually really freaking sad. It was really hard for me to finish it. I don't think I even finished it. But watching it's really sad because you can see that Ryan's clearly in pain. He's not able to answer any questions. Clearly, like the police, I shouldn't be laughing. I'm laughing because it's just like, it's very clear that he needed medical attention and he didn't receive it. The investigator, Paul, asks him, what's the highest grade you've completed? And he says B. You know, he was asking him, like, what's the highest grade level? Like, did you graduate from high school, college, the 8th grade? But he's thinking of it as like a grade, and it's so sad to watch. I don't know, it's just very clear in the video, like he's not well at all and he needs medical attention. In the video, he also keeps stating that his head hurts, he just wants to lie down, he's tired. And to me, when you look at the pictures in the video, like the black eye doesn't look like a black eye like you would get like in a fight. It looks like something that you would get if you were truly like beaten badly. It looks worse than like just a black eye, but they were treating it as though he just had a minimal like black eye or something. I don't know. And also it was very clear that like pieces of his eye or his nose was missing. But the entire video, he's just very sluggish. It kind of sounds like he's like in and out of consciousness, or he could be, I guess, assumed that he was, it sounds to me like also he might have been like drunk or on drugs or something, but he's obviously very out of it and shouldn't be in a room being questioned. Whether or not someone is guilty of something, or I feel like everybody still has a right to receive medical aid, and then, you know, let's investigate or ask you questions or, you know, whatever. But regardless of the situation or what the police officer was intending or thinking, I really think that it was very clear that he should have received medical attention rather than going straight to the investigation room. I don't know, that's what I thought. Finally, after 2 hours of investigation, the police officer kind of realizes towards the end, like, okay, something isn't right. So he brings a paramedic in there, and they look at him and they're like, we gotta take him to the hospital right now because he has a bullet wound in his head. Bullet wound in his head. Rather than seeking medical attention for Ryan, the police officers just assumed that he was a part of her dying, that they had some kind of like domestic dispute, got in a fight, and Ryan is the one who had shot Heather and killed her. That was their assumption, and they were treating him as a suspect rather than, even if he was a suspect, he should have gotten aid. So Ryan goes to the hospital. He's there for 35 days, ends up missing a piece of his brain, and also he loses his left eye. While he's in the investigation room, he does drop the names of Larry and Richie Carver. Is it Carver? Yeah, of Larry and Richie Carver. And he tells them, or Paul in the investigation room, that they are the ones who had shot and killed Heather Quan and also shot him. I guess they were friends at one point, and there was some kind of altercation between them, and Larry and his father went down there to confront Ryan about some dispute or argument they had in the past. And upon trying to enter the home, they got an altercation. Ryan was trying to close the door, and they ended up just putting the gun through the door and shooting. And they automatically shot and killed Heather because she had witnessed the whole thing. Richie and Larry also went and robbed the house too as well, stealing electronics, a guitar, along with also attempting to kill Ryan and killing Heather Quan, unfortunately. Larry and Richie did get sentenced to life without parole, which was great. And unfortunately, because of the injuries that Ryan had suffered, he went on his entire life after that incident just continuing to get seizures. Because of his head injury, he got seizures all the time. On January 20th, 2016, Ryan had his final seizure that unfortunately led to his death. And of course, if it was my child, I would have been trying to sue some fucking buddy. And his parents fortunately did try and do that, because obviously I feel like there was a lot of mistakes that happened, especially with like the police, and their reaction and response to getting him aid and helping him when he clearly needed it. Okay, and I forgot to add this part, but this is a really sad part, but Ryan died because he had his final seizure in a grocery store, hit his head and bled out. And that's how he passed away. So Ryan's parents filed a lawsuit against the Phoenix police department for $15 million, but they dismissed it because they said that the delay in him getting medical attention didn't have made a contribution to his injuries or difference in his injuries, that he still would have ended up the way that he did without seeking medical attention right away. That the main cause of his injuries was basically from the shooting and not because of him not getting medical attention right away. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm explaining that in a really weird way, but I hope you guys get it. I was trying to find information on if they're still trying to do something about that. I know that they truly believe that that wasn't the case, but I believe they are still fighting with them against it, believing that that's not the case, that he would have been died and he would have been continued having seizures if he sought medical attention right away when he should have. I believe that's what's going on. What do I think? I think that it is common sense, or it should be some kind of like just basic rule of thumb before we investigate this person who is obviously in some kind of altercation or incident, that we need to give them medical aid, check them out first before we start taking them in the investigation room hours later and continuing to keep them away from getting medical attention hours later before we start questioning them. I feel like that's like a rule of thumb, and they obviously didn't do that, and he deserved that. Whether or not, you know, it led to all these things or things happened, he deserved that. And he was clearly in pain and not feeling very well, and he was subjected to being asked questions. I'm gonna link the video of the interrogation, the full interrogation video, in the description, but just a heads up, it's super sad. It's really hard to fully watch. I probably watched like maybe a little bit of it the first few minutes, and then I kind of skipped around and stuff and looked at the comments, but it's really sad and it's really hard to watch because he clearly is not feeling very well and they just don't care. And I feel like everybody deserves to be treated a fair way until the police officer was just assuming that he was a suspect, right? Like, they didn't have any clear evidence yet. And whether or not he is a suspect or did do something, he should have had medical attention and then get questioned. Like, I don't know. Okay, guys, like, this was a really short one today. And I'm so sorry. That was kind of like a choppy, sloppy one, but I'm gonna do so much better, I promise. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and then me doing my makeup and stuff. Yeah, holiday weekend or week was like crazy, and then I kind of just like fell off with it. But New Year's resolution, I'm gonna keep up with the videos, and everybody should keep up with the videos. If you enjoy doing something, continue doing it. It's 2025. What the man? Like, anyway, okay, so yeah, that's kind of it. This is my simple everyday look. I normally will put mascara on, but I'm not going anywhere. I am just staying home today. It's really windy in LA today. Out in the valley. There's some kind of like weird fire thing going on that caused wind. Anyway, super simple. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.
Okay, go like and subscribe. Or don't.